That is what we're looking for, Broncos country. The Denver Broncos finally played complimentary football in their 24-17 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. The box score will say that it was only a one-score game, but Denver spotted the Raiders 10 points in garbage time, including a field goal on the final play of the game to cut it to a one-score deficit. I have no idea what the Raiders were thinking there. They knew that time was going to run out when they kicked that field goal, but they still decided to do it. And I know a lot of bettors weren't happy about that because the Raiders covered the spread as a result of that field goal. But realistically, this was a 24-7 win for the Denver Broncos. Denver played some excellent football. Offensively, they had their foot on the gas for all four quarters. Bo Nix was awesome. He was precise. He was delivering the ball on time, in rhythm, in structure. He was decisive. He was putting the ball in the hands of the playmakers, and the playmakers were rewarding him with some nice plays after the catch. The run game was also sensational in this one, and I was concerned about that coming in. In terms of EPA per play, this Raiders rushing defense was the third best in the NFL, and the Broncos were able to run all over them with RJ Harvey, and Harvey looked decisive when he was running. He wasn't prematurely bouncing stuff to the outside, which is extraordinarily positive. We're hoping that this rushing attack can sustain itself through the remainder of the regular season, and then once we go into the playoffs, we've got J.K. Dobbins coming back, which is absolutely huge. On the defensive side of the ball, it was kind of a rough start for the Broncos. The opening quarter had just two possessions. One possession by our offense where we went downfield and scored a touchdown on an 8-minute drive. It was methodical. The Broncos looked awesome on that drive. Then on defense, it almost looked like a continuation of last week versus the Commanders where the defense was giving up chunk plays. They were struggling to stop the run on that opening drive. We were all kind of like, oh man, here we go again. The defense is still rusty. We were hoping that they would figure it out quick. Thankfully, they did. The Raiders capped off their opening drive with a passing touchdown to Brock Bowers. On Denver's second offensive drive, they get the ball and they kind of stall out on the other side of midfield. So instead of kicking a 58-yard field goal, Sean Payton decides to punt the ball away. That was a good decision. They pinned the Raiders down at the 5-yard line. They took a sack and they ended up getting pinned back even further. A.J. Cole punted it out of his end zone, and Marvin Mims was able to return it for a touchdown. That was the play that opened up the entire game. After that point, it just never felt close. Denver got another touchdown after that. They went into halftime 14-7. They got a stop on the Raiders on their first possession coming out of halftime. Denver goes downfield, and they score again. They looked really, really good, man. The offense was on time, in rhythm, in structure. Once the defense got their stuff together, they were getting pressure on Geno Smith. They finished with 3 sacks on Smith and then 1 sack on Kenny Pickett after Kenny had to come into the game when Geno got hurt. Geno got shaken up a couple separate times in that game. Once was a hand injury and then the other one was a shoulder injury that finally took him out. And by the time Geno exited, I mean, the game was pretty much gone. Kenny Pickett came in and led a couple of scoring drives in garbage time, but it just wasn't close. What gives me such optimism about this victory for the Denver Broncos is that this is the formula you can use to win in the playoffs. Play sound defense, run the football, let Bo Nix be that point guard, that distributor, get the ball in the hands of his playmakers, and Denver can win a lot of football games that way, especially with J.K. Dobbins making that potential return in the playoffs. This team can get absolutely scary. We're getting hot at the right time, and we're playing our best football at the right time as we head into December and as we head into January. Still, we've got a tough final 4 games ahead. We've got to win this game against Green Bay coming up, and then we got to beat Jacksonville at home. Neither one of those games are going to be easy, but if the best version of this Broncos team shows up in those games, they should win it. Because Denver proved today they've got a formula that can beat pretty much anybody in the NFL. I know that there are going to be some people out there that are going to try to take away from this victory saying, oh, it was just the Raiders. The Raiders are the worst team in football. Of course we should have beaten them. There was nothing impressive about this win. The fact that the Broncos didn't play down to their competition in this game was certainly impressive and a positive development because Denver's had issues all season long playing down to their competition. And we have a prior reference point with this Raiders team. Denver played like garbage in that previous game. Offense and special teams didn't want to do anything in that one. They weren't pulling their weight at all. Denver's got an elite defense. They're lucky that they do. That's the only reason why they won that game. Today, at least early on, the defense wasn't pulling their weight, but the offense and special teams made up for those deficiencies until the defense got their stuff together, and once they did, this Raiders team couldn't do diddly squat. And you look at these other teams in the AFC right now, Buffalo's vulnerable, Kansas City's probably not even going to make the playoffs as they're down 10-0 to Houston. We've already beat Houston once this year. I don't know if there's a team out there in the AFC that is truly better than the Denver Broncos. The Patriots are young. They don't have any playoff experience. So, for me, this Denver Broncos team has a really big opportunity moving forward. We're going to talk about the playoff seeding and what the Denver Broncos were able to secure with this victory after this Houston Texans and Kansas City Chiefs game gets decided. So stay tuned for that video. But right now, things are firmly in control of the Denver Broncos in terms of getting that number 1 seed. Alright guys, be sure to smash that like button as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, Broncos Country. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos Country just like you and me. Additionally, if you want to go above and beyond in supporting this channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. It's not mandatory, but if you want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, I would really appreciate it. The link is in the description below. And before we get out of here, guys, I want to tell you about the affiliate partner for today's video, Green Gridiron Helmets. Use code DENSYN, DENSYN, link down below as well, to save off your first purchase on authentic NFL helmets. From small replicas like this one behind me to full-size authentic helmets, they've got it all. Again, that is code DENSYN, DENSYN, link in the description below, to save off your first purchase from Green Gridiron Helmets. Thank you so much to them. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.